As a mood reader, I find it really hard to stick with any kind of reading plan or TBR list that I make, so this week we're just gonna mood read, my friends. Hello, my friends, welcome to my channel, Discover Book Kim. I'm Kim, I'm so excited you're here with me today. Welcome to this week's book and reading vlog. This week is all about listening to myself and just mood reading. So I just finished my most recent read, which means listening to my gut, listening to my soul, and mood picking whatever book I feel like reading next. So let's pick a book and then let's get reading. Alright, my friends, so I consulted my TBR shelves behind me and I came up with 3 books that are my first possible read for this mood reading vlog. So let me just go through them really quick. The first one is a romantasy. It is One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig. I don't know much about this book. I just know that our main character needs a monster and she calls him Nightmare, and the monster might be her. Not really sure what that means, but that is the first. This is a duology. The second book is a romance book, and it is 7-Year Itch by Amy Dawes. This is second in a series, actually, in the Mountain Men Matchmaker series. Second in the series. I read the first book, and it was called 9-Month Contract. It was really cute. It was quite spicy. It was pretty funny, so I really enjoyed it. So I'm thinking if I want a romance read, I could go for this one. Or if I'm in the mood, I have A Curse Carved in Bone by Danielle L. Steele. This is also a romantasy. I believe it is Viking inspired, Norse inspired, so this is the second in a duology as well. The first one was called A Fate Inked in Blood, so this would finish a duology for me, which would be quite fun. So these are my 3 options. And I'm gonna pick one of them to start my vlog with. I'm thinking I'm gonna sit here, I'm gonna read the full description of them, and then I will pick one and I will get back to you. Okay. Friends, okay, it is a couple days later, and as you saw, I decided to read One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig. So let's chat about this a little bit. I've actually finished this book at this point because it was so good. I am going to read you the synopsis from the inside because I do not want to ruin anything for you by giving spoilers that are not on the inside of the dust jacket. So I'm going to read the inside of the dust jacket and then I will tell you my thoughts on the book. So Elspeth, that is our main female character. Elspeth needs a monster. The monster might be her. Elspeth Spindle needs more than luck to stay safe in the eerie, mist-locked kingdom she calls home. She needs a monster. She calls him the Nightmare, an ancient, mercurial spirit trapped in her head. He protects her, he keeps her secrets. But nothing comes for free, especially magic. When Elspeth meets a mysterious highwayman on the forest road, her life takes a drastic turn. Thrust into a world of shadow and deception, she joins a dangerous quest to cure the kingdom of the dark magic infecting it. Except the highwayman just so happens to be the king's own nephew, captain of Destriers, and guilty of high treason. He and Elspeth have until solstice to gather 12 Providence cards, the keys to the cure. But as the stakes heighten and their undeniable attraction intensifies, Elspeth is forced to face her darkest secret yet. The nightmare is slowly, darkly taking over her mind, and she might not be able to stop him. This book, I like this book so much. I thought it was so good. This is the special edition version. So I have like the fancy foil cover and then the fancy back. like a nice fancy little inside jacket. It says "The Girl, the King, and the Monster They Became." And then you can see, oop, and then you can see there is some fancy edges. And yeah, I got this fancy version. Oh, and then the inside. So I didn't know what all of this was like until I read the book, but I'm not going to tell you much. If you think about what I just said in the description, you'll be able to figure it out. Mitzi! It's okay, girl. But yeah, this version is absolutely beautiful, and this book is so, so, so good. I loved basically all the characters in the book. I thought they were so fun. I thought they were so interesting. They definitely had to go through their challenges, and they had to grow, and they all had so many secrets and so many different things that led to so many like twists and turns and so many reveals that I thought it was so fun because it really kept the book moving and kept things flowing, which I really, really enjoyed. This book, it did not drag like at all. It was a quick moving book. There is world building in it, but it's not too like intense or heavy that it takes up so much of like your mind space and the book. I think that's why it is a little bit thinner, is that there is world building, but it's not like ridiculously heavy world building, which makes it a much lighter, fun read. It is a gothic fantasy, so it's definitely still like a gothic fantasy. So keep that in mind when I say it's a lighter read, but it's a lighter gothic fantasy in that it's not quite so heavy and dense to read. And I really, really enjoyed it. And there's so much like yin and yang in this book. There's so much that there's stuff happening where you have to make these choices that are going to come at a cost, but also like the choices need to be made, or do they need to be made? And it's just, there's so much at stake, and there's so much that these characters are trying to solve and make happen. And I just thought it was really good and really fun and really interesting, and I absolutely loved it. So my mood reading for picking this book was surprisingly like spot on. I rate this book 4.5 out of 5 stars, which is basically my 5 stars. I very, very, very rarely give a 5-star rating unless it's like I neglected my family for the book. But I really, really enjoyed this book. I sat down on Saturday and I just read like half of it in like one sitting because it was just so good, and I just couldn't wait to see what happened. And then my game plan was actually to like completely read something different after this. It is part of a duology, but I was like, I'll read the first one and then I'll just like palette cleanse with something else. But the way it ended, I was like, I gotta get right into book 2. So I started book 2, which is Two Crimson Crowns, and I'm not very far into it yet, but it looks like this one is going to be a couple of different points of views. So the first book is just through the point of view of our female main character, Elizabeth, but it looks like book 2 is going to give us several different points of views, and I'm really excited, and I'm really curious to see where the story goes, because the ending of book 1 was just like tragic, and just like I can't wait to see what happens. So we're gonna keep digging into book 2 and see what happens.